When you order your Madman kit, in the box comes a little diagram of the options. Not every single installation or installer will be exactly the same. There's a few options for oil temperatures, whether you want to measure for an automatic or a manual gearbox. You might choose to measure rather the auto gearbox temperature instead of engine temperature. So there's a few different options. Also on coolant, we're going to use a coolant adapter, which we'll show you later. We're going to use this particular kit, but there is a kit just for coolant. There is a kit just for level, and there's another, the 2 level probes that you can use, the probes being stainless steel 4.8 screws that go in the water bottle. So my preference is that kit because it covers everything in one, all in one spot. So that comes in the kit. This is the polyurethane hose, an adapter, and bracket for mounting your boost sender. The boost sender screws in there. There's a MPS2 2-bar pressure sender and its pigtail. There's an MPS7 7-bar. This is for your oil pressure. This is the adapter for mounting your EGT probe. There's a nice spot in the Td5 where you'll take out the exact same bracket and replace it with this, and your EGT probe screws in there, along with 2 high tension bolts. Here's your coolant level adapter kit. Comes with 2 hose clamps and terminals and a stainless steel screw. Your EGT probe, it comes with a set of plugs. The adapter for this one is for oil, for the oil pan, and your temperature sender goes in the back there. There are the 2 temperature senders. They come with a small pigtail, your oil pressure switch. It goes into the factory location. And here is your Madman unit. Comes in a nice pretty box also. There's the actual unit itself with a mounting bracket. If you're using a pod, you use the bracket to fasten it into the pod. The wiring harness, along with the alarm buzzer that comes with the harness. This is now going to go on the right-hand side of the driver's dash. This is an additional item. This does not come with the kit. So the kit doesn't include a mounting option for it. Just bear that in mind. Okay, let's take a look at the EGT probe. This is the kit that it comes with. These are the plugs that you will, one side you will attach to the wiring harness, and they plug in. It's a pretty firm plug-in system. You don't want it to rattle loose. Then's the actual EGT probe. Just be careful when you get the probe. This fitting is has got a small compression olive inside of it here, and if you lose that, your EGT probe will fall out. Just little ties that hold it together. It's a stainless steel braid. You have to be very careful that you don't short this braid against the positive of the battery and then rest it somewhere on the body, because it becomes very hot very quickly and it will make a mess. When we work with this braided braid, we don't want to kink it and make unnecessary bends in it. It's got a natural spring to it, so we kind of go with the flow on that one. That's the EGT probe. The coolant level kit, this is the AH38 kit, which means it's to fit a 38 millimeter diameter hose. Comes in this one, it came in a pretty bag, but we won't be using these terminals because we are using a slightly different adapter. But ordinarily, that would be to connect the earth underneath the temperature sender. That's to connect at the positive of the temperature sender, and that's a little terminal for you to plug in for your water level adapter. It comes with a stainless steel screw, 5 millimeter screw, and that goes in the edge of the polyurethane adapter, or polyethylene, whatever clever things it's made of. and it comes with two high quality hose clamps that are going to clamp onto your hose. You're going to cut the hose and they're going to clamp onto both sides. There might be kits that you bought a while ago and it would come with a standalone sensor like that screws into the adapter. There's the makeup of the hose adapter in the old style terminals with the old VDO temperature sender. Let's take a look at the new style. The new style comes with a pigtail plug, and although there are 3 terminals, only 2 of them are used. One is to earth the terminal, and the other is the resistance signal from whatever source you're measuring. And then it comes with a hose. It's about 1 meter long, maybe more. A little, let's call it watertight plug, which then clips in. It's got a little silicone seal, so it makes a pretty good seal when you clip it in, and pretty tight. And to get it off is pretty simple too. You don't want these to be loose, obviously, because water gets in off-road vehicles and water is bad. There are 3 wires to the pigtail, although on the temperature sender we only use the black and the blue wire. This is the boost sender. Comes nicely wrapped in a little bag. MPS2, 2 standing for 2 bar. If you are making more boost than 2 bar, you are going to have to use a higher value sender. The next one up is 5 bar, and then 7, and then 10. Just be aware that if you are making a lot more boost, you're going to have to use a different sender, but this one is adequate for the TD5 and most installations of factory turbo diesels. That also comes with its own little pigtail, same style plug. It can only go in one way. There's a little catch on it. 3 pins and 2 pins goes in one way. Little silicone seal on it to keep it watertight. So that's boost pressure. Oil pressure is much the same. Same harness, same adapter as the boost pressure. And this one is an MPS7. If you're making more than 7 bar of pressure, it won't kill the sender. It's just not going to read correctly. So if you're running more than 7 bar of oil pressure, then you must get the MPS10. But for this application in a TD5, MPS7 or 7 bar sender is plenty. You'll see when we do the installation, this is the adapter for a TD5. So you'll take the factory oil pressure switch out, and you'll turn this adapter in, and then you'll turn that in on that on that side, and the factory adapter back in there. So you've got the factory oil pressure switch, your Madman oil pressure sender, and it goes into the factory location. So there's no drilling or tapping needed for a TD5. For transfer case oil temperature, there's the Madman oil temperature sender and with its loom, and these measure up to 150 degrees. If your temperature is more than 150 degrees, you probably have more problems than a Madman can resolve. This is going to be screwed into this adapter like that. Comes with a crush washer on it, so don't lose the crush washer. You don't want oil leaks. And this we will be installing in the transfer case so that you can monitor your transfer case oil in the TD5. This is the adapter plate for mounting the exhaust gas temperature sender. No drilling required. It comes already tapped to receive your sender with 2 high tension bolts in place. If the adapter plate on this car is original, I think it's got Allen keys in it. This will be the very first thing that we do, because if you can't get these screws out, and often they snap because it's very high temperatures they work with, you know that you can stop your installation before you get going. That's got to be sorted, and you have to get a specialist to come and get those studs out. The Madman, the EMS3, this is actually technical name EMS3R, R standing for round. At some point, I believe Madman Developments will make a rectangular or square version, but for the moment this is what is the most common, EMS3R. It's got a plug at the back for plugging in the harness. It's got a magical QR code, and it has a full wiring diagram actually listed with the pin layouts on the Madman. All that's needed to get the manual for the whole Madman installation is you scan that QR code, and if you're connected to the internet, it'll pretty much pop up instantly. Read the manual. If you're doing this as a DIYer, read the manual. I field more calls from DIY installations. I believe Madman does as well. More calls from DIY installations, and invariably there's one common fault that runs through them all, and it is incorrect earthing on the Madman. So read the Madman manual before you do your installation. Here's the main wiring loom for the EMS3. Here's the alarm, audible alarm. It's got a little plug on it and a corresponding plug on the harness. There is the little terminal for your buzzer. Reason for installing it separate is if you're pulling it like we're going to be doing, we're going to be pulling this plug through the firewall. If you attach the buzzer, it's just going to snap the wires off. So we'll pull it through, and once it's on the other side of the firewall, we'll connect the buzzer. On most installations, you will not be using these two. These are programming cables. Then there's a few others. The red with the black trace is an RPM signal. Most users won't use that. The purple and the pink wires are trigger outputs. Most users won't use those, although they are very useful, and you can drive a fan relay from those. And we'll talk through all of the others as we do the wiring later on in the installation. There are different configurations for installation depending on what installation you're doing.
Hi, it's Brian from Madman Developments here. Our products are made in South Africa and available to everyone around the world. We have an online shop and warehouse in South Africa selling to the world, and a dedicated shop and warehouse in the USA for the Americas. Go to madmandevelopments.com for all the information you need, including shops and contact details for sales and technical assistance.